This show has a lot to talk about. We'll talk about Bitcoin's chop range and Ethereum's consolidation. We'll also watch the movie that Ripple put out about making the Interledger protocol and the company's overall plan. The main idea behind the $800 million coin plan was to use Ripple locks. What does that mean for us? What about Bitcoin 57,000? Where do we go from here? I'll take care of you. Relax, take a seat, and get a cold. Take a sip, stand up, and let's start. One day ago, Bitcoin was worth $1.58, $4,185. The price of Ethereum went up by 1.34% to $2,984. Both USDT and USDC have gone up by 3.24%, but XRP has only gone down by average of $0, only gone down by an average of $0.51 one. It went up by 4.61% on the last day, though, if you didn't see that. Watch the movie that starts the day, listen to it. We talked about how fast Bitcoin pairs go together and how hopeful it is for both new and old channel members. Many of you are new every day. Please make sure you click the like button. Click the subscribe button to turn on the alerts and make sure you never miss a bell. It's important to listen, click the like button and pay attention. We get something good from the show. It makes the algorithms a lot better and adds support for Ripple. We gave back $30,000 to the neighborhood yesterday. Every month, fundamentals projects win $30,000 more than NFT projects. You're mine. That's what I need to do. That's how big our neighborhood is. Just click and sit down, people. I'm happy with it. Phil says he can't deal with cryptocurrency anymore. Holding is making him worse. I don't understand how keeping can be so terrible for someone, but selling usually is. He asks, what breaks you down? How does leverage work? But how can holding on to something you don't understand destroy you? I believe that $74,000 was the top of his cycle. If a bull market doesn't happen, I think the price of Bitcoin coin will drop to $30,000, which is where he wants it to go. He's on leave right now, so until he comes back to the market, good luck to him. I really hope he has a great trip. We don't want every Bitcoin to be worth $30,000. If anything, the Bitcoin retest 485 is the lowest point that has ever been seen. There are 52,000 people playing. If we fall short of where we are now, it might happen, but it can't. It's a 50/50 chance right now, so it doesn't happen. What should we do? We do know that $5 trillion will have come into the market by the end of the year. But Bitcoin hasn't really been on the rise lately. However, if we go back in time, we can see that Bitcoin hasn't exactly been on a serious rise lately. If you want to see how Bitcoin has acted in the past, you can go back to 2013. For a while that year, the price went up before everyone went crazy because they thought the existence of Bitcoin was a good thing. 2013, 2017, 720, 201. And things are getting better this year. People yell and kick when prices go down, like when Bitcoin's price dropped about 30%. People are moved to tears by their feelings. They start reading all the bad news on Twitter and set a great example. But what we see is that Bitcoin shoots back up and starts its soaring run as soon as it hits what looks like its local bottom. There is not much time left for the parabola run. It's going to start happening soon. I've already talked about how May has always been a great cue. May, you've been on this channel for a long time. If people think the markets are taking too much of their energy, they should be nervous, scared, and pay close attention. If a roller coaster is too much for you, you should get off of it, leave for a while, and come back in a few months. Big changes will happen all of a sudden in these markets. In answer, Brad Garninghouse speaks clearly and loudly. Hello from the person known as X. Should we call it X now? What is her name? Brad Garninghouse is responding in an interesting way. She is answering, but I don't know who she is. Is this the house that Brad Garninghouse lives in? Yeah, I agree. It's not clear to me. To set the record straight, I'll give you a solid C. I just found it interesting. I see that we hit 56,000 to 58,000 when he leaves. The zone, which I talked about in my last video and that he talked about in his last video, makes it seem like we could go even lower. If it's at all possible that this is mostly a directional short build-up, we should see a squeeze at some point. I haven't totally gotten rid of the leverage that has built up since our peak at 64,000, and I haven't seen any more bleed down either. Are you still waiting for a flush at this point? Or are you going to use dollar cost averages to make a move in Bitcoin right now? As I already said, Bitcoin is in a very interesting place right now because it is a stable cryptocurrency. It only needs time to either go back up or keep going down and test $52,000. Martini says that Ethereum is making me really scared of missing out, but I don't think it will hit 20,000. When there is a bull market, I think it's somewhere between 13,000 and 15,000. This tweet is more of a click on me type, which won't happen if Ethereum hits $20,000. XRP is getting close to $10. What do you think about that? That's how you go about it. Today, I wanted to show you this movie, so here it is. Let's all listen to it now. We will talk about the internal system, the changes that Ripple is making, and how these things connect to TCP/IP. Folks, pay attention. It's not possible that there will be a single blockchain that all users around the world will follow. It's not possible to put everyone on the same blockchain because there will always be different networks, blockchains and ledgers in use. Personally, I don't see how it makes sense. That's not how the world starts. I don't think that's how things will turn out in the end. To put it another way, Ripple pretty much came up with this idea. How do you plan to solve that particular problem? How do you make it? We made an internet interface like TCP/IP to make sure that different ledgers on different payment networks can talk to each other. Our tech team created the Interledger protocol ALP to make it easier for checks to be cleared between countries. The idea behind ALP is that these different networks will work together as a single blockchain. Some of the things you might say are that HSBC has a banking network, that a Visa is a network in the US, and so on. You can claim these places because they are real now. You can tell these networks to move to the blockchain, but all they'll do is repeat what they're already doing. There are issues with being able to grow. The idea is like a network that is linked to the internet and can quickly handle scalability problems. The internal policy we made and made public as open source really does mean that. There should be a uniform protocol for data networks around the world that links these value networks to these payment networks. But putting this system into use in Ripple is what's really important. In fact, the goal is to build these networks so that they can talk to each other and improve the value and efficiency of interoperability that we would say is missing. After the interoperability of things and data, this is kind of a third part. Value and standards need to be able to work with each other. You need standards for this and the other too. Using a method like the Interledger protocol to make this possible is something very important. In this way, they deal with similarities, don't they? We understand what ALP and TCP/IP are. We know that Safari and Apple work together a lot. The Interledger protocol has been around for about 7 years. We talked about the first one, which is Citibank's connection to the private record. This process takes about 10 years. I believe it happened in 2017 or 2018. LL said that we are getting close to the best time for them to launch and work with Ripple, or at least to start production, since banks usually need 10 years. 10 years old, right? It's interesting that Ripple and data privacy are working together to find a way to make a unique digital ID, since it's not clear who is testing the ID and who is making it. I'll take this piece in the XRP Ledger Palo. XRP price, Ripple has locked up 800 million coins to make a big XRP movement, which is an interesting move. We know this is an exchange, but what's going on here? There is cash going in and out, and the price of Bitcoin is going up. It is now worth 57 Solana. It's interesting to see that a lot of these other coins have come back and are now doing better. I bought a lot of Solana the other day. I'm up 12% on it, so earnings aren't too bad, are they? I have enough money on hand. The local bomb looks good, and I put money into Cardano, which is up 4%. My AAA is up 6%. And my chain link is up 5%. It's killing me that I can only have one ARB. This is good for you. Listen up if you watch the whole movie and pay attention. You should feel proud. Let me give you a little tip now. ARB is one of those coins whose value will skyrocket in the future. For now, it's just crawling along and not doing very well. It gets noticed.